is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I've got a PU match. Decided to switch things up and play a little bit of PU just because it's always a damn good time. There's some really interesting Pokemon in this tier, but this team I'm using was actually built by my boy Chris, aka Skyranter, and it's really fun to use. It's got some cool stuff, but yeah, my opponent's running some definite threats with like the Abomasnow and the Pyroar and all that stuff. So this is actually one of my first PU matches, so I'm trying to kind of just get my PU legs in because it's been a while. But I decided to lead off with my boy Budweiser here. Decided to crack open a cold one early on, as it turns out to be a real cold one, as he ends up leading off with his Abomasnow. So he predicted my lead really nicely there, so that kind of sucks, as I'm looking at the matchup and I see that Mudsdale actually does really good against his team, so I don't want to take a Blizzard to the face early, and I'm just going to go ahead and switch right into my Silvally here. So my Gold Alley comes out, I take a Blizzard, and I'm like, okay, I know I can take at least one of these. And then my plan was pretty much just to parting shot out of here and make this thing less of a threat. So it knocks me down to red there, and I'm like, yeah, it's all good. But he turns out to be holding the Choice Scarf item, which allows him to outspeed me there. And that is quite unfortunate. I lose my Silvally early. And that thing's really just a good mon to have around. With this team, it kind of relies on that thing going for the parting shot, and then there's multiple Pokemon that like to set up on this team. So I know that he is stuck into Blizzard there, so I'm freely able to go into my my Kingler, not really worrying about the Giga Drain, as I predict the switch into the Gastrodon there. I knew he was going to want to bring that thing in. The obvious play is pretty obvious, as this allows me to go right into my my weird-ass Mushroom Alien, Starvin' Marvin. So the reason why I brought this thing in is because I do have Energy Ball for this with this Gastrodon, so he actually just goes right for a Toxic, which I don't really care about a whole lot. This thing is actually Assault Vested, and it's kind of built to take special attacks, but the poison is kind of unfortunate there. But I'm able to go ahead and throw a nice little green ball right at the snail's face, and that is actually going to knock that thing out, which is perfect, because that makes my physical attacker's lives a whole lot easier. So now he's going to go right into the Golurk. I don't really want to take a Shadow Punch to the noggin, because I got a big-ass head, and it's kind of just an easy target. So I'm actually just going to switch right back into Mudsdale. Anytime there's a physical attacker on the field, this thing's kind of just my go-to. With that stamina ability, this thing can actually be used pretty damn nicely if your opponent is only left with physical attackers. Honestly, this is actually my first time using Mudsdale, and I mean, I'm pretty stoked on this thing. Honestly, it's much better than I expected, but you do have to play it pretty nicely. But anyway, I'm just gonna go right for some Stealth Rock here, as he is gonna end up switching into Humphrey, which is gonna be the Ursaring. So I'm actually confused as hell, and some ducks floating around my head as I actually just hit myself. So that it's kind of unfortunate. You got to expect it though. Seems like I hit myself like every damn time most of the time. So yeah, he actually is going to go ahead and activate that there Toxic Orb, which shows me he's either Guts or Quick Feet. He shows me that he's going to go for the Swords Dance, which kind of leads me to believe he's probably going to be Quick Feet, as I am able to luckily break through the confusion here, and I am going to be able to get up my Stealth Rock, which is nice. So I did actually get one stamina boost from when I brought Mudsdale in, which is really nice from that Dynamic Punch. So at this point, I know I'm sitting at +1 defense, and I'm pretty damn bulky in the first place. So I decided to kind of just stay in here after running the damage calcs. It looks like I can live a Facade. So he goes for that. I live it with 35 HP, which is going to boost my stamina even more, as I do actually luckily snap out of my confusion, and I'm able to get an Earthquake off on this thing, which is really needed, because now the poison damage can kind of do the rest for me. I know that I am going to end up having to lose Mudsdale here, but it's kind of the price you pay, because this Ursaring is just spooky as hell, and yeah, overall not feeling too bad about that trade. So the Facade is going to take care of Mudsdale, but he is actually going to go down to his own poison damage, which is really nice. I'm just thankful I was able to break through that damn confusion, because shit can be annoying. But yeah, so down goes the Cuddly Bear along with my horse, and at this point we have a double down. So I wasn't really sure what he was going to want to bring in. He actually ends up going into the old shield face, as I bring in Eric Cartman's fat ass. And I don't have a whole lot to do to this thing, obviously, with Eradicate, so I have to switch out here, and I decided to just go right into my my Kingler here. I know that he can't really knock me out in one hit, so he actually ends up just going right for the Toxic. That's not too big of a deal here. I was kind of debating on whether or not I should start setting up the Agility. This is actually, this Kingler's built to pretty much to be able to get up in Agility and then outspeed pretty much everything in the tier, and then you can hit just extremely hard with this thing. So I actually just decided to go for the knockoff, kind of expecting a switch, but either way it's gonna break this thing sturdy, and that's pretty nice. So at this point, get rid of them leftovers, and it's looking like a Liquidation should be able to take care of this thing. But yeah, so I'm getting hurt by some damn poison. He got up some late game Stealth Rock, which is not too fun, as now he's just gonna go ahead and protect using that big old shield face, and a Liquidation is, you know, obviously not gonna hurt him. So I really should have gone for the Agility that turn had I predicted the Protect, but honestly, it would have been kind of risky. But Here, all I gotta do is just go for Liquidation, who, honestly, Kingler is super stoked on having Liquidation now. The Ultra Sun and Moon was pretty kind to him, and hooked him up with a better water move, so that just, that's awesome. I love Kingler as a Pokemon. Never really used this thing a whole lot, though, but now he's gonna go into the Pyroar, and this is why I should have set up an Agility, because I would have been able to outspeed this thing, unless it was like Choice Scarf, but at this point, I don't really have any switches, and I don't need Kingler a whole lot anymore since that Bastiodon's taken care of, so I let him take me out with a nice little Hyper Voice. He yells at me, and Kingler just, you know, kind of crumbles under the pressure getting yelled at, and yeah, so at this point, I'm just gonna bring in friggin' Alolan Raticate yet again, as he actually turns out to bust out a fucking Z move. I was kind of hoping that I would be able to live a Hyper Voice. I believe after running damage calcs, I think there was a chance, so I decided to not go for the Sucker Punch and just try to finish this thing off with a Double Edge, but he actually just goes ahead and tosses a fucking nuke right at my little rat, and you know, from the looks of that, I'm not gonna be living that any day. So that takes care of Alolan Raticate, who is actually really fun to use. I will have some more battles which will showcase these Pokemon that don't really get to do a whole lot in this match, but yeah, so that goes down, and at this point, I can just bring in Starvin Marvin, who is Assault Vested, and I know that I can take Hyper Voice here, so it doesn't do a whole lot, and this allows me to fire off a Psyshock in return, which is going to take care of the Pyroar, which is awesome, because that's a pretty damn big threat out of the way. So now he's got 2 Pokemon left. He has the Golurk, and he has the Abomasnow. He decides to go into the Abomasnow here, which I was really thankful for. Because of the fact that I'm Assault Vested, after running some calcs, I should be able to take a Blizzard from this thing, depending on what kind of, you know, like, EV spread this thing's running. But he goes for the Blizzard, and I'm like, please, Marvin, this is your time to shine, and I live it with 7 HP, which is amazing, and that is gonna allow me to fire off a Psyshock, and since this freaking alien is amazing as hell in the special attack, it's able to take that thing out. So I am unfortunately gonna go down to the Hail, but at this point, it's not too big of a deal, because my last Pokemon is the Tropius, as he has the Golurk, which is, it's looking like I should have this matchup. So I bring out my Bananasaur, ready to smack some bitches with them bananas on his neck. And here, all I've really got to do is just go for 2 Leaf Blades, and I know that the first one's not going to kill, but it is going to do over 50%, which is awesome. And he actually goes for the Dynamic Punch. His last hope is to kind of just confuse me and hope that I hit myself, but my Tropius is confused as hell. He decides to look in his pocket, and he's like, oh shit, I have this here Lumberry. So the reason why I have a Lumberry on this thing is because it actually gives the move Nature Power a flying type, and plus, this thing's mainly just supposed to just set up with Dragon Dances, and having a Lumberry is really nice, as it kind of worked out there. So one more Leaf Blade is going to take care of the big-ass Transformer, and that is going to be the end of the battle there. So honestly, it could have been avoided had he switched into Golurk first before going into Abomasnow, but like most people would assume, he didn't expect me to actually be able to take a Blizzard. So that Assault Vest came in clutch, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, as always, and don't forget to subscribe if you're into that sort of thing.